Hi, it's Laurel Dietz from Alinea Legal Coaching, and I'm here with Beverly Carter, Beverly Carter Notary. And I just wanted to connect with you, Beverly, to check in with you and see how business was going during COVID, and maybe have you tell our audience a bit about what you do and right now how you're doing it. So why don't we start there?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yes, I'm a notary public and I am open. COVID has definitely catapulted us into definitely a new world. We were actually able to shift you know what, we already had very good practices in place and we were able to shift to be able to serve people. One of the biggest things that we've done in order to protect the public as well as us is to actually close the doors, and we offer drive-in signing services. Yeah.
A drive-thru notary, Beverly Carter.
Yeah, no cheeseburger or fries with that. So, but basically, so that's been working for all the real estate that we do. So, because of course I had lots of real estate on the go that was already in the works. A lot of those contracts are now coming to a close end of April, beginning of May. And then we shifted for the wills and estates, so wills, powers of attorney, health representation agreements, advance directives. We've shifted to a video interface just like this. That was, 2 months ago, that's something I would never have imagined I would be doing today.
Yeah.
And like the word Zoom meant nothing to me other than go faster. Right?
Okay, so walk me through this. So you had a bunch of people who had purchased houses before the whole lockdown happened, and they still had their deals that needed to be completed. So there's paperwork and documents they need to sign and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they drive up to your window, you hand them a stack of paper, and what do? They sit there at the window, or do they go to their car? Like
Yeah, so basically what we've done is, so all of those people have had binding contracts, they're obligated to complete those deals. So the province of BC defined notaries and lawyers as essential legal services, and because real estate is in that category. So what we do is that we prepare all the documents ahead of time. We are emailing as much as is possible because not everybody has the same technology or is comfortable getting an email with an electronic attachment with a bunch of documents. But for all of those clients who have that ability, we are sending the documents in advance for them to read through, because in the past I would sit with them and we would also do that, but then I would also review them with them and point out highlights and whatnot. I'm still doing that. If it's raining heavily, my options are a little more limited. But so I am basically, so they get the documents, we have a specific appointment time, which we always did. Mm-hmm. And I say, you know what, pull up in front, give us a quick call to let us know that you've arrived. We'll come out, we'll get your identification, because we need to do that with everybody. And we'll get them to start signing any documents that don't require me in front. And then I come out and I will talk to them and ask them if they have any questions. And then we work through the documents. There's a lot of the documents which require me to give an oath. So there's statutory declarations or affidavits, both are oaths. And so I'm doing, I'm kind of holding up my hand out and saying, do you know and understand the contents of the document? Do you declare the information to be true? And do you affirm or swear to the truth under oath? So we're actually doing that out in the parking lot. And then I'm, signing the documents, bringing them back in and processing them. We have very few touch points. We ask people to bring their pens. I have a 20-liter pail of hand sanitizer. It's essentially pure alcohol and it smells rude, but it does the job. So we're sanitizing any possible touch points, being paper, clipboards, even IDs I use, I've got hand sanitizer and then I've got amazing bleach bottles everywhere. So we're sanitizing things like IDs, keyboards, where we touch on the photocopier. So it's very intensive. I mean, certainly, for each file that easily adds probably a good 15 or 20 minutes of just being so super diligent about making sure that we've sanitized everything and that we're adhering to the protocols of the day. But you know what? We already had a lot of that in practice because I've always had clients who are coming in from all different backgrounds, all different health conditions, people who are on chemo treatment. So we never know who we see. So we've always had a very extreme protocol in place anyhow. This is just, I'm going to say, taking it up to a hyper vigilant level that our world has changed. And so it's the way I can open the doors and keep my staff and my clients, everybody, mitigate our risk factors. So I'm quite comfortable.
Sounds like you've pivoted pretty quickly and easily into this like new sort of sanitary working conditions, which is great because I imagine there are a lot of notaries, as there are lawyers, who've kind of just had to shut down until they can figure out what to do. We were lucky because we were able to do everything remotely because we have very little need to be in person with our clients.
Yes, that's right.
With you, right?
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us or tell me, like, what are the services that you're offering right now? So other than the real estate.
Yes, which you can see right there. Yes. Samples. Well, we are still getting deals come through. Just so people should be aware that people are still making offers on houses and deals are still happening. I expect the floodgates to open once our distancing protocols are opened up a bit, maybe relaxed slightly. I expect there to be a huge surge of that. So anybody who's out there looking to put their house on the market, it's my own personal opinion, but I think you should be ready to go. Have your agent in place and be ready to get out the starting gate, because I think that will be an advantage to you rather than waiting until it does, but be ready to go. Mm-hmm. So what was the question you asked me?
I was just saying, what other services are you doing? So you're a notary. What services do you offer normally, and is there anything you're not doing right now?
Yeah, so generally I'm offering all services. So in the personal planning documents, there are wills, powers of attorney, health agreements, and advance directives. As you can imagine, I've had a huge surge in that business. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to take a bit of a holiday because some of my own staff were affected, like no daycare, so unable to get out and come into work. So we already had a very full workload that kind of went down to lesser of us. But we've done it well, and I have to commend my team for really stepping up. And we've done it together. It was very, very peculiar times in the beginning, and so we're more used to the new normal now. So we've adjusted our practices. So all of those are still going ahead. I have a technology, like a little intro that I provide to the clients ahead of time. That we have to get them to approve the technology interviews. We are, recording them, which is really unique. But the thing is, when a person does a will, that's somewhere down the road. And, we don't have the ability to have the person here in person. Mm-hmm. And to, make different assessments. And not everybody I've met before. Lots of people I have. A lot of my clients are repeat clients. And so, we're just trying to do our best to shift to the new normal without having had guidelines to lead us down this path. And I think, we have once or twice weekly sessions with our professional body to sort of stay on top of, trends or best practices in the new world. And so that's what we're trying to do.
It's really interesting because these kinds of things are developed over usually our best practices are developed over a long period of time. And all of a sudden we found ourselves in a much different world where we have to figure it out effectively. And then sort of we do our best, and then we kind of, once you made the change, and then you kind of take a few steps back and be like, okay, is that still good? Should I maybe tweak it a bit here or there, right? So.
Right. And I've always been of that mindset. I I don't say I do the best. I can always be better, and I'm always open to suggestions. And I listen to, my staff or clients even will sometimes give a little tweak of a suggestion. I'm like, hey, that's a great idea. Let's do it, or let's try it. You know what? And as a result, I'm able to be incredibly efficient with the services that I offer, and friendly, right? And confident. And I get that feedback a lot. I mean, you're going to see, where is it? There. That's because I do amazing, efficient and personal services. It's important. It's part of my style, and it's just important to, finding relevance in what I do on a day-to-day business is the people I serve, and I want to be able to help them and do that to the best of my professional ability, and as a business owner, the best to as a business should offer services as well, right? So so the other part of it, you asked about the other all the services. So I'm still doing notarizations, and I call notarizations a whole host of accommodating people's business needs from all over the world. So that'll include identifying who the person is. So we'll often act as an agent for identity verification, and then also witnessing or signing the documents. So somebody who might be selling a property in Ontario but is here needs somebody here to help them sign those documents. And so we'll get documents sent from the law firm in the other province. I do lots for the US. And so that's kind of interesting, because you can imagine, there are some documents I see repetitively, some documents I might see once or twice a year, some documents I've never seen before. And so there's a huge problem solving element to what's in front of you and figuring it out, because different, you can get something from England or Australia or Florida or I don't know, anywhere else in the world, and they have different styles of signing. Some of the language may be slightly different, and they're not always set up logically as we would expect them. So it's about figuring it out. It's a bit of a puzzle sometimes, which makes it interesting.
Yeah. Have you been seeing any affidavits coming through for court in British Columbia or anything like that?
Not much. Yeah, so not much. Some, I tend to see more from other provinces anyhow. But I think because the courts, I would see a lot of estate probate documents, people who are doing probate themselves and submitting to the courts. I would see a lot of those. That's a very typical document. I'm not really seeing any of those right now. I expect, the courts are closed, but there's still a way of submitting the applications. So there are drop boxes. Those are some of the shifts that have happened. And who knows what the timeline is, but I think people are just holding back from getting some of this, their business needs done at this point. So, yeah, and that will open up again once I think I have been full, and I anticipate that once the people start getting back to being able to do their day-to-day business needs, I'll start to see more of that as they feel more comfortable going out. So
I feel like there's been a few phases to this whole COVID thing. There was the early shock phase where everyone just kind of like shut down. And then I think then we've, a few weeks ago, we've kind of fed into the, let's figure out how to do business or necessary business now. And so I noticed a certain increase in business at that point. And I think maybe you did as well. And then I think we'll probably see definitely, as we move back into normal life, sort of maybe a slow growth of it opening up again. Yeah.
And for me, I've still been working. I've been open, actually, in fact, because I had such a flood of calls coming in, I had to kind of, I didn't reduce my working hours, but I had to reduce my open hours just to allow to manage people's expectations about a phone call getting answered. And we have answered all of them, but it just took us a bit of time, because, we're out dealing with somebody outside, and there was just two of us at one point.
Yeah.
And so we had to be there, and to be able to manage this, we had to manage everything as a team.
Yeah.
So whereas a lot of the times I can do things, a large part of what I do, I can do on my own, but not with all the additional protocols around eating and distancing and, being outside with wind and rain. I need somebody to hold the umbrella, so.
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, people, by and large, I wish I could give Google reviews for a lot of the people, because I've really had some wonderful clients rolling through, and everybody was really gracious and going with the flow, and I had some really good conversations. I think you were saying in the shock phase, I think I was in some cases the only person that these people would actually see.
Yeah.
And to be able to remain calm and provide a safe, secure experience, but very personal. I was always asking people how they're doing, how they're managing, and people, I think, really, a lot of my clients really appreciated that, and I did care, because I learn through other people. I listen to what they say, and that helps me to be better in tune and support my clients. I mean, as it is, a lot of people, if somebody's doing probate, they're dealing with the death of somebody, so there, in a lot of cases, there's an emotional element to what the paperwork is that they're doing. So whether it's that, or selling a house, right, or signing a divorce affidavit, or so there's often an emotional component. So, and I felt as a person, just connecting more with the folks and allowing the time for that was important. So I have to say, I would Google review 100% of the people that have come through, because I've had some really good times in some unique, in the shock phase particularly, but even beyond, I still take the time to find out how people are, how they're managing, what they're doing, and we need to,
As you're saying, with people going through needing to do these documents, and a lot of them connected to a very emotional time in their life, they're just so happy that there is someone like you who's still open and able to help them. Do what they need to do at this time, which is a hard time. So I just wanted to close briefly with, because so I'm a lawyer, you're a notary.
Yes.
I think this is maybe a little bit more interesting coming from you than it is from me. What's the difference between a lawyer and a notary?
So we're from a practical perspective, so we have different types of education. So I have a bachelor's degree as well as a master's degree in applied legal studies through SFU, as well as a lot of professional practical training. So that's my foundation on a day-to-day basis. So notaries under the Notary Act are restricted to specific areas of law to practice. And I always say notaries are lovers, not fighters. So we never go to court. We don't do anything contentious, basically. So we do real estate. So we'll do, if somebody's purchasing, we'll do all the legal work for that, or sale, or if they're getting a new mortgage. We can also do contracts when they're doing private, like a private deal between two parties, a tenant is buying from the landlord, or, grandson buying from grandma, those sorts of things that we do. And we do a lot of, so lawyers do all of that, but we just only do that. So we couldn't take, if something went sideways on a deal, we couldn't take it and represent them in a legal action. But neither would that lawyer who works on that be able to do that. You always have to refer out to somebody else.
Yeah.
And then in the areas of wills and estates, so we can meet probably about 70 to 75% of all people's needs. Most people have relatively straightforward wills, and that's one thing. But I say when people are doing wills, the will may be straightforward, but their lives aren't. And so some people need to get referred to a lawyer. They're best served to use a lawyer where trusts are required. So if parents have an adult child who's got a developmental disability, that child would be better served by having an inheritance through a trust as opposed to just a direct $100,000 or whatever, because it impacts their lives in different ways. So I frequently, I try to determine before clients see me whether or not that's what they're needing. And I always refer them out to a lawyer. I've got a couple lawyers that I refer to for that.
What I want to jump in and say is that I know a lot of people are more comfortable coming to see a notary before going to a lawyer. And I think it's for that very reason that you say, that lovers, not fighters. But I think another valid point there is because like your training and your studies are in actual practical day-to-day like transactions, business, this is what we do. Like lawyers don't learn that at school. They kind of learn it on the job. They learn all the theory at school.
Well, we certainly get all the theory, but I do find generally notaries are more grassroots. I think they have a more grassroots approach to the practice. And that's the part that I like about it. I've got a nice office, but it's not lawyerly, but it's professional for sure, right? And as I would want. But, I think a lot of people, they shouldn't fear lawyers for sure, because lawyers, huh?
But I always hope they don't. I try to do, as much outreach as I can so that they don't, but,
I refer a lot of people for business, for family, for complex estates or complex wills, just because that's who can serve them. And I have my own group of people that I refer to that I trust, that I know that are people that will treat you in the same or in a similar way, as more of that grassroots appeal with the intelligence, right? Because I find a lot of people are really intimidated when it comes to dealing with a lawyer. They don't know where to turn to, right?
Yeah.
And so notaries tend to have, like I say, that grassroots, and but I don't ever hesitate to forward on. But they tend to like my recommendations because that's a place to get started. But if they had to figure it out by going online and figuring out who they're comfortable with, that's not necessarily the easiest thing for a lot of people. They're just lots of good people with just, this is not their thing, and they just, it can be hard to tackle doing your own will, much less, with who you're with. If you're not comfortable, that makes it harder for some people. So I try to reduce that and really come to their level. I come from a pretty basic, good grassroots family, so that helps a lot. So,
Good. That's great. Well, I know that I have been able to refer clients to you, Beverly, and they're always pleased with the service.
Yeah, and likewise to you as well. So.
And anyway, so if people want to get a hold of you, you've got your number there on the screen. And can they email, or is it mostly phone in?
Yeah, so I also have an email, hello@carternotary.com.
Okay.
Yeah, so hello@carternotary.com. How about that?
Okay. So if anyone's buying or selling a home, especially now, or doing up a will or processing, they're wanting to get started on an estate, contact Beverly for help, and of course for any notarizations, and especially any affidavits if you're going to court.
Have law firms referring people because they don't have open doors for some of their clients, so I'm able to work do some services for different law firms as well.
Well, it just gets back to that grassroots, practical, efficient, just getting the job done.
Yeah, that's me, getting the job done.
All right, well, thank you, Beverly.
Thanks.
It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, great. Thanks so much.
Bye.